Welcome back to our annual Picks or Treats episode where Jason's dressed as the optimistic Packers fan and I'm the ever downtrodden Giants fan. Let's get right into Week 9 in the NFL. Hey everybody, welcome back to Week 9 here on Mike and the Feather, this year's NFL podcast. We are looking at all of the picks for Week 9 against the spread. For Week 8, Feather went 7-5 on the picks overall, going 2-0 on his Take It to the Bank picks. And if you're wondering why the math doesn't add up as far as 7-5 for the number of games, we did say last week that because of the Jaden Daniels issue, the Commanders-Chiefs game was a no pick just because there were too many variables with that spread. We're here to give you our best advice against the spread as it currently stands here on Tuesday afternoon. But keep track of the line to let you know when he doesn't like a pick or feels a bit uncomfortable. So there you go. Are you ready for Halloween weekend of football? And somehow it's going to be November 1st when kickoff starts?
Trick or treat, baby.
Oh, man. Well, some of these spreads might be tricks by the casino because we got a lot of big spreads for Week 9. But like I said, let's just jump into it with Thursday Night Football. And we're going to open up with a barn burner. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are at home. And the Baltimore Ravens are 7.5-point favorites against a Miami team that might have possibly bought a couple of weeks for Tua and Mikey.
This Miami team put a hurt on Atlanta. In Atlanta, I don't know how it happened. Literally, Atlanta made this team look like a contender for some reason. I mean, Tua actually played well. Their offensive line looked like impenetrable, and their defense like the steel curtain, which none of those things are true. So Atlanta just had a really bad game is what it comes down to in my belief. Baltimore, we once again got duped by Lamar Jackson. Luckily, they pulled out the spread for us based on the 6.5, even though the line plummeted to -2. Still covered the spread for us. Lamar Jackson did not play. Little trickaroo. This week, according to this morning, as of Tuesday morning, John Harbaugh says he is absolutely confident that Lamar Jackson's going to play on Thursday. Can we trust anyone in the NFL after the situation with Drake London? And I don't know what's going on. But I'm going to take his word that they're going to come play because this game is huge. Baltimore is back in the mix due to Pittsburgh falling against Green Bay. And, of course, the epic collapse by the Cincinnati Bengals against the Jets. Baltimore is looking like they're live again for the division. And the next 4 or 5 games are very favorable for them. So they start stringing some together, they're going to be right there back on top. The running game, finally, Derrick Henry looked pretty solid. He got himself his touchdowns. And overall, Baltimore's defense, surprisingly, looked a little bit better. They got a few guys back, so that's going to help them. John Harbaugh, I believe, is a great coach. On the other side of the ball, Mike McDaniels is not. Baltimore 7.5. I hate that hook, of course, especially on the road on a short week. But Miami is not good. It was smoke and mirrors. The Baltimore Ravens are going to get this done. Take the Baltimore Ravens to the bank all day long. Thursday night extravaganza. We're going to start it off strong. Take the Baltimore Ravens -7.5. Boom.
You know, the good thing about this Sunday, too, the clocks are going to be going forward. Going to get that extra hour, and it's still another 2 weeks before I have to get up at 6:30 in the morning for an international game.
Two more.
November 9th.
Oh.
But starting off at 10 a.m. this Sunday, November 1st, it's November, Chicago Bears are on the road at the aforementioned Cincinnati Bengals, who just had a massive comeback and, massive collapse as the comeback against the Jets. Chicago Bears coming off of that loss, -2.5 though, favorites on the road.
Yeah, the Bengals, they had an epic collapse, but sad story, Nick Mangold, who for the New York Jets, who died over the weekend. Biggest condolences to his family. Kidney failure, couldn't get a new kidney. And this Jets team, I'm sure organization was reeling. He was beloved. And, maybe he lifted him up a little bit to pull a magical comeback off. We never know. But Cincinnati is same thing. Last year, Joe Burrow, they're putting up 39. The other team puts up 40. It's a problem. But I see a lot of good things in Cincinnati still, okay? Their defense is not one of them, unfortunately. But Chase Brown looked a little bit better. The last 2 weeks now, Jamar Chase, Higgins, they're all beasts still, okay? I believe in Joe Flacco. I'm a little concerned. He's questionable day to day. The Jake Browning project was not working well. So I'm a little bit concerned, but Chicago playing back-to-back road games is also a little bit tricky. And to have Chicago be 2.5-point favorites on the road, back-to-back road games after taking a bit of a shellacking by Baltimore with a backup quarterback, Huntley, doesn't put a lot of faith in this Chicago Bear team as well. Caleb Williams made some mistakes. The defense was not particularly great. And I think Cincinnati at home is going to figure this one out. I'm going to take the Bengals and the points. Bengals plus 2.5 all day long. I just don't see this offense that is so much potential. They sputtered against the Jets defensively, but they're still going to be able to put up the points, especially on this Bears defense that struggles. Take the Bengals plus 2.5. Boom.
Next up, and I'll put a picture of this on the screen. This is my household divisional matchup between my wife's San Francisco 49ers and my limping along, for lack of a better word, New York Giants. I didn't actually watch a lot of football this weekend due to other obligations, but man, can the Giants catch a break? I mean, Jackson Dart rises up and everybody else just topples like dominoes. It's these two beat up teams, but I think it's safe to say the 49ers have the slight edge, and Vegas thinks so too because they are the 2.5-point favorites on the road in the Meadowlands.
Yeah, this game's interesting because last week we saw San Francisco be underdogs to the Texans, and it seemed like a trap game. And it was, obviously, because the Texans beat them up pretty good. Christian McCaffrey couldn't do anything. This Texans defense is legitimate. I don't know where they got the offense from. They had some young rookies that stepped up, but a little bit of concern as far as the 49ers go, because here they're seeming to be getting healthier. Ricky Parasol might be back this week. It's hard to say. Brock Purdy, that's up in the air, but either quarterback I think is going to be just fine. I don't know. I don't expect another bad game out of Christian McCaffrey in this one. The Giants down their stud running back and their heart in Cam Scatterbo. Giants at home, they have a lot of energy. The defense is solid. The front four is solid. This game feels trappy again. It just does. 2.5 San Fran. But you know what? We're going to bite. I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers minus 2.5 on the road against the Giants. They're going to get it done one way or another. They're too good to sputter against this Giants team that really is still looking for a wide receiver to throw the ball to. Jackson Dart is dynamic, but now he lost his Robin with the Batman-Robin combo. Take the 49ers minus 2.5. Boom.
Let's follow that one up with the Atlanta Falcons with a questionable quarterback situation. Poor Kirk Cousins waited all those games to play and did not look good. The rust was on him for certain. But they are at the division-leading New England Patriots, and the Patriots at home are that odd number of 5.5 points on the spread.
Yeah, New England's playing outstanding. No one had New England on their bingo card for winning the division.
Improvement, definitely, but not where they're sitting right now, I think.
Yeah, they're leading the division ahead of Buffalo. No one thought that was going to be the case. Drake May is playing outstanding. Mike Vrabel's got this team playing well. The defense is phenomenal, one of the best in the NFL. Even Ramondre Stevenson, he hasn't fumbled the ball for a couple weeks now, and he didn't do much last week. But but they played a tough matchup in Cleveland. So what are you going to do? This week though, it becomes interesting because Atlanta, Michael Penix didn't play. Kirk Cousins looked terrible, like terrible. He was airmailing everything. Drake London was a late scratch. His hip flared up or something. I mean, the guy showed up on the injury report on Saturday, and then he's just out. It's weird. But now the coach is saying, okay, they're both day-to-day. It seems like they're both going to play this week. I don't know. So this is going to be a contingency pick, okay? Very simple. We're going to go with the Atlanta Falcons plus 5.5. I think it's too many points. I think it's possible that the Patriots still get it done, but 5.5 is too many points. But the 5.5 plus 5.5 Atlanta is contingent on Michael Penix and Drake London starting. So very simple. Wait till the end of the week when you get confirmation. Penix and London both go. Atlanta plus 5.5. Boom. If it goes the other direction, we're going to go with the Patriots minus 5.5 in the event that either one of those two players are out.
Yeah, we'll see how that one shakes out later in the week. But let's go on to another team that obviously we can say it every week, but it's true. The Indianapolis Colts have surprised everybody, and Jonathan Taylor had a monster game this past week. I mean, the team as a whole is playing like above the board. They're taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who do you feel a bit bad that your Packers put the smack on Aaron Rodgers?
No, Green Bay got a huge victory. First one in Pittsburgh since 1970. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. But in this case, the Steelers now have a game where they are going to be the dog. The Colts are -3 on the road against the Steelers.
Yeah, Pittsburgh days of, back-to-back home dogs are the Steelers, which that doesn't happen very often. Pittsburgh's a hard place to play. But the problem is they spent all this money on this defense in Pittsburgh, and their defense is a huge problem right now. TJ Watt got paid. He's not doing much. Jalen Ramsey's trying to do his thing, but, he can only do so much. The offense is the tricky part for Pittsburgh, okay? DK Metcalf is dynamic and he's solid. Aaron Rodgers has been playing pretty good, although he got shaken up pretty good against the Packers. But he's looking for that second wide receiver. He's got a bevy of three or four tight ends that he throws to. Some of them are just monsters of men. They're huge. But they can't seem to find that wide receiver too. Kelvin Austin III is back, and he's a much needed wide receiver too, because the guys in place of him hadn't done very well when he was gone. On the flip side, Indy's on a tear. Jonathan Taylor, 4 3-touchdown games this year. Unbelievable. I mean, this Colts team, Michael Pittman, he's a guy that's been, kind of having a rough go the last couple years. He's looking outstanding. The young tight end rookie, Tyler Warren, outstanding. The defense is playing well. Daniel Jones, he's just poised. The man doesn't mess up. He's not making mistakes. He's throwing pure passes.
He ran the longest con game against the Giants, being so bad for all those years, and now suddenly he's...
I think the con was the Giants organization. I mean, give Daniel Jones an offensive line, and he can do great things. And guess what? I'm sure Peyton Manning's a little bitter because guess what? He didn't have that offensive line, and either did Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck had to retire early because the Colts had no offensive line. This game's interesting because it feels trappy. It's one of those weird lines where it's like, okay, Pittsburgh's not playing great. They are at home. That's why, it's -3 Colts on the road. The Colts are a little bit different team on the road, but they seem to beat up the teams that are really bad, and they seem to handle the games like they did against Denver when they played them earlier in the year. This is another one of those games. Pittsburgh's in a big load of trouble. If Pittsburgh loses this game, they're going to start to lose their hold on the division big time. But we're going to take the Indianapolis Colts, -3. They're going to get it done. I'm not going against Jonathan Taylor and this team that's on fire right now. The line does not know how to protect against the run, and Jonathan Taylor is the best back in football. Take the Colts -3. Boom.
And on the opposite side of this weekend's game, we have the Carolina Panthers versus the Green Bay Packers. Packers are going to be at home getting the second largest spread. Again, we got big spreads this week, a lot of double-digit spreads. Right now, they are 12.5-point favorites at home. Looked better this past week.
Yeah, they did. Green Bay that game against Pittsburgh wasn't even as close as it looked at the tail end. I mean, they gave up a garbage touchdown. Their kicker, who's coming off a hamstring, missed 2 field goals that normally he's Mr. Automatic. So that game to me was a 20-point victory, in reality, but it wasn't. So either way, this Green Bay team is looking great. They have so many wide receivers to throw the ball to. It's unbelievable. And they're going to be getting they got Christian Watson back last week. He looked really good. First time he's played, he's missed 18 or 19 games in a row with a torn up knee. Came back, caught some big time first downs, some big time plays. Josh Jacobs, they didn't even need him. He came in, got the touchdown they needed, played sparingly. Wilson came in, did just fine. Tucker Kraft, on National Tight End Day, went off for 130 plus yards, touchdown. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, this offense, for fantasy-wise, it's a nightmare because they have 6 wide receivers that are getting catches and doing well, and Dontavian Wicks wasn't even on the field last week. 12.5 points gives me pause a little bit because Green Bay traditionally isn't one that goes for the jugular and runs up scores. But in this case, you have Bryce Young, who's banged up, that's day-to-day. They kind of built in the line as if Andy Dalton's going to play, I feel like. But ultimately, the only positive for this team is Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. But the Packers' run defense is pretty savage right now, so that's going to give them problems. And I feel like they're not going to be able to pass very well. Even though you look at Nixon, who had his problems against Pittsburgh in the defensive backfield. He is vulnerable at this point, or appears to be. But I don't think they're going to be able to get the receivers the ball because the pass rush and Micah Parsons is going to be all over them. Take the Green Bay Packers to the bank. Yes, to the bank all day long. Minus 12.5. Yes, I picked the Packers again. Someday I will not. But guess what? They keep winning. I'll keep picking them. Let's make some money. Boom.
All right, well, that's going to take us to the halfway point of this Sunday's games. And take a moment to say, guys, if you're enjoying the video, please make sure you like and subscribe. And stay tuned, because we got coming up in just under 4 weeks our traditional Thanksgiving live stream. Gonna have a lot of fun stuff planned for that. But let's continue on with this Sunday. Divisional game. We love the Vikings at heart because our editor is a lifelong Vikings fan.
Nobody's
provides
perfect.
us with lots of great equipment to use. But the Vikings and their quarterback situation, which is bad, are on the road at the Detroit Lions, who are still looking good. And the Detroit Lions are 8.5-point favorites. And now we're back to the J.J. McCarthy experiment, I believe, since Wentz is out for the season. And if I had to guess, possibly his career. I think maybe he's over at this point.
Yeah, he's had season-ending surgery on his shoulder. They abused him out there. Carson Wentz, they kept him out there, just kept getting pounded onto his shoulder. The guy was in rough shape, and they did him a disservice for sure. But J.J. McCarthy, which his fake injury is healed now finally, and,
Once again, the opinions of the Feather may not represent the actual truth and reality, but we
J.J.
enjoy
McCarthy's
it. So.
fake injury, because they didn't want to say they were just benching him. But anyway, he's looking to be back. And talk about throwing him into the fire. It's like, hey, why don't you come back at Detroit coming off a bye in Detroit, and your team absolutely needs a win because you're falling like a ton of bricks to the ground. Why don't you start that game? Let's pick that game for you to start. So that's where we're at right now. We got Detroit, whose defense is the problem right now before they went on bye. Between the suspension for one game, which is now over, but they have multiple players in defensive backfield hurt. Aiden Hutchinson is trying to get the pressure needed to prevent that deficit in the backfield. But this offense for Detroit is outstanding. I mean, their 1-2 punch at running back with Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery is outstanding. And they're coming off a bye, which is a huge advantage for a well-coached team by Dan Campbell. 8.5 points, it does seem like a lot in the division battle. But the thing is J.J. McCarthy was like a practice dummy, getting sacked like crazy and beat up before he went out. And now he's going to come into a hostile environment, Detroit, a huge division game. And Detroit's going to get it done. Take Detroit, 8.5. It's a lot in a division battle like this, especially considering both these teams last year were so good and so competitive with each other. This game is not that. J.J. McCarthy is going to be the issue here. Aaron Jones coming back. He's not going to get it done. Take the Lions, minus 8.5, double-digit victory, no doubt. Boom.
Next matchup is one we talked about briefly before we started recording, and it's a very interesting line. We have the Denver Broncos on the road at the Houston Texans, and the Texans are the favorite here by 1.5 points.
Like I said, it was last week's trap game, and it came true. The Texans won. Now, once again, they're 1.5 favorites against Denver, who seems just whipped up on Dallas and is beating everybody. And really, Denver could be undefeated if not for a last-second situation against Indy and their other game as well that they lost. But here we go. In Houston, Nico Collins is still questionable with his concussion. He didn't play last week. For fantasy-wise on our team, I hope he plays this week. But they managed to have some young rookie receivers and young receivers step up in place of no Nico Collins and no veteran Christian Kirk. They're still searching for a run game. Nick Chubb is done. That guy, he's, great career. Injuries took over. Done. Marks, on the other hand, he's all right, but he's nothing special. C.J. Stroud, though, all of a sudden the offensive line's blocking a little bit better, and this defense is making up for any deficit this Texans team has. Now you have a situation where Denver, who cuts their teeth with a great defense, they're going to be down Patrick Surtain, their number one and defensive MVP last year. But now they got R.J. Harvey in a 1-2 combo punch with J.K. Dobbins. That guy ran for 2 touchdowns, looking dynamic. So they're looking great on the running game. Mims is in with, I believe, a concussion or something like that, so he might not be playing. But Franklin came up big. Of course, Cortland Sutton. And Bo Nix coming off of back-to-back games where he's just doing really well. What's the catch is what I want to say. The reality is the Texans have not given up many points all year long. They're number one in the league in least points given up. They cut their teeth on their defense. But Denver is going to penetrate it this time, and they're going to do enough to get it done. Take the Denver Broncos, plus 1.5. Boom.
And in the last morning game, the Los Angeles Clippers. You know what? They could probably beat this team,
You better cut that out.
No, I think that is hilarious, and I am leaving that in. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Are you drinking during the podcast, Michael? Or?
No, but I've been thinking so long about starting. They are on the road at the Tennessee Titans. But give the Clippers 10.5 points too on the road, and they can probably still beat the Titans. But that's what the spread is at, minus 10.5 to the Chargers.
A high school football team should be able to beat the Titans the way they play sometimes. But hey, you know what? The Titans do show signs of good things, okay? They early on against Indy on Sunday, they showed some potential, but they did what the Titans do, and they choked it away, which is a tough environment. In Indy, they weren't ever going to win that game, obviously, but I thought it would have been closer, but unfortunately, Jonathan Taylor had other things for that. The Chargers, they get a whole bunch of good stuff out of the Kamani Vidal. That guy had a beastie game. The guy was on the practice squad to start the year, worked his way up to lead running back, and had a great game. They're waiting big time for Omarion Hampton to come back, but he's not going to be due back probably till the end of November at the earliest. So that's kind of a tough break for them, but they found something in Vidal. Justin Herbert is playing great, and now all of a sudden they have Gadsden, the tight end, who literally is like just a beast, 6'5" or whatever, plays like a receiver, built like a truck, and he's having monster back-to-back weeks. Just what he needs, another weapon for Justin Herbert. I mean, all three wide receivers are playing great. You got Keenan Allen, who's the veteran, that's a sure-handed guy. Quentin Johnson comes up with a zero burger, doesn't catch a pass, but then Ladd McConkey steps up and says, "Hey, I was the alpha last year. I'm going to take over this game as the alpha," and he did, and they worked smoothly. Now they go to Tennessee, where Cam Ward statistically is just bad. It's his rookie campaign. It's not looking good. The running game is mediocre. Their defense is meh. But for some reason, I'm going with my gut in this one, okay? I believe that 10.5 points is too many points to cover in this one. It's a division battle. Tennessee's at home. I look at like a backdoor cover is going to come, okay? I'm not going to say the Chargers are not going to lose this game. Okay, that's not going to happen. So I'm not saying that Tennessee's going to win this game, barring some craziness. But I'm saying that 10.5 is too much. Take the Tennessee Titans to cover the 10.5, probably a backdoor cover most likely. Boom.
All right, that's going to roll us into the afternoon games, which we have 3 of this week, although that's kind of like a lie because 2 aren't really games and 1 massively is. So rest up for the 125 game, but you got to start off first at 105 with the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Jacksonville on the road is a 3-point favorite, and I almost feel like that's an insult to the Jaguars.
Both teams coming off a bye, so that's kind of an interesting scenario. Both of them had time
How often does that happen?
That both play each other that came off bye? I don't know. It's not too common.
Not too common, right?
Geno's still the quarterback, if you want to call him that. Ashton Genty is definitely improved throughout the season. Max Crosby, they're not going to trade him, they say, I guess. So we'll see. Brock Bauer is still out. When he's going to play, I'm not sure. Jacoby Myers, their stud receiver, he will or may not play. He requested a trade once again, so he wants out of Las Vegas. So he's not a happy camper. All these things are not good. Now you look on the other side of the ball and you got Trevor Lawrence. Which Trevor Lawrence we're going to get now? He's had his good games against the Chiefs in in Jacksonville. But he had some really stinkers too against Seattle and others. Travis Etienne has been a great running back for this team. He's one of the bright spots on this team overall. And then you got Brian Thomas Jr., that rumor has it he was an outstanding rookie wide receiver last year for Jacksonville. This year, not so much. He's looking a little better as of the last couple weeks, but supposedly Jacksonville has basically said they're willing to trade him, and they have him on the market potentially for potential offers. I don't think they're going to get that done. And if Trevor Lawrence can actually stay consistent, they should have no problem with the Raiders. It's in Las Vegas, but the Raiders are going to do what the Raiders do and shit the bed, because that's what the Raiders do. So we're going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars -3 on the road. Boom.
And also at the same time, will be the New Orleans Saints taking on the LA Rams. Rams are 14-point favorites at home. Saints have now benched Spencer Rattler. And it's, what is it, undrafted rookie time? Who's this guy they have?
Tyler Show. No, he was one of the rookies that got drafted ahead of Shedeur Sanders. And everyone's like, oh, okay. Why did they? You know, everyone was upset that he got drafted and they didn't take Shedeur. So, and granted, he came in last week and he didn't look very good. Or he came in on Sunday, he didn't look very good. Spencer Rattler project seems to be over at the moment. I don't know if he's going to see the field again or not. This Saints team, you know, Alvin Kamara, he's not happy. He doesn't want to be traded. They're thinking about trading him, but you know, then they're looking to possibly deal Rashid Shaheed possibly before the trade deadline. Chris Olave is playing solid, but this team is not good. I mean, it's just, I thought they would put a better showing up against a beat-up, tore-up Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that failed miserably. I mean, the Saints and Rattler looked horrible. Literally, he gave the ball to the guy in the 5-yard line with the easiest interception ever for a free touchdown. Embarrassing. Now they go ahead and they're going to play a team like the Rams coming off a bye. I think Puka Nacua is going to play. It's still up in the air whether he is. His ankle injury, I think he's going to be good to go. But Devonta Adams has taken over as the alpha in absence of Puka Nacua. Matt Stafford, fountain of youth, is still working well for him. He's doing great. This defense looks good, and obviously everyone knows Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the NFL. 14 points is a lot, but you know what? It's not enough. Vegas got it wrong. It should have been 17 plus probably. Take the Rams, -14 to cover easily. This might be a 28-point plus victory, but they're definitely covering 14. Rams off a bye, feeling good, getting healthy, getting the W. Boom.
And the third game, starting at 1:25 p.m., is our spooky matchup of the week. Although I'm not sure who it's going to be more spooky for if they get a loss in this game. It is the Kansas City Chiefs on the road at the Buffalo Bills, the now annual tradition. I think it will be as long as these two quarterbacks are leading their respective teams. The Chiefs, coming off of that crushing defeat of the Commanders, -2.5-point favorites on the road against the Bills.
Yeah, I'm going to give the Chiefs credit. They're playing great football. Although in the first half, Patrick Mahomes' this team played pretty poorly, especially against, and lucky for them, it wasn't Jane Daniels, it was Mariota, who couldn't capitalize that whole game. But they came back second half. They did get a garbage touchdown to Rashee Rice when it was game in hand. But this team all around defensively looks great. Their running game has looked solid the last few weeks, but now they're down Pacheco probably to a knee PCL sprain, which, you know, he probably won't play this week is my guess, but hard to say. On the other side of the ball, Buffalo came off a bye. Their run defense is in big time question, and they kind of quieted the critics a little bit with really dominating, you know, the team that was on fire. I mean, they had won 4 in a row, I believe. Carolina was 4-3. 2 running backs that had been tearing up the NFL, and they shut them down, held them to 9 points. So it was a much-needed bye. Josh Allen did what he needed to do. Cook. In this matchup, the key is Cook. Cook is going to be huge. He had a monster game. He's someone that they're going to really need to lean on. And I'm still waiting for a Buffalo receiver to step up as the alpha, okay? Shakir had a good game last week against Carolina. I need more out of Coleman. I need more out of Kincaid. I know Kincaid's been bagged up and missed some time. But someone needs to step up as the alpha receiver. Even Palmer. You know, Palmer's been banged up too. Someone needs to step up, give Josh Allen a trusty receiver. But this team at home is going to be very hard to beat. The Chiefs are the first team, I swear. I mean, They're now 5-3, but they're 5-3. They're Super Bowl favorites at 5-3. Patrick Mahomes is the the MVP favorite right now in betting wise. And as of today's date, this minute of video, if the playoffs were to begin, the Chiefs would not even be in the playoffs. Let that sink in. Coming into 9 weeks of football, the Chiefs have not at any point been in the playoff picture in the top 7 seeds. Pretty wild, right?
That's crazy.
And yet they're Super Bowl favorites. So when have you ever heard of a team being a Super Bowl favorite and midway through the season, they're not even in the playoff seeding? That is insane. Something new that the Chiefs did. Again, a new stat created by the Chiefs. Now, here we go. Going to give all the credit that's due. Patrick Mahomes played terrible in the first half of football. Didn't look good. Threw a couple interceptions. They look bad against a Washington team that's quarterbacked by a ham and egger, Marcus Mariota. Wish we could have seen Jaden Daniels. Unfortunately, he wasn't ready to go. They came back second half. They got some garbage time touchdowns, but they look good, okay? Their running game looked good. But now you got a situation where Pacheco has a PCL knee sprain or something like that, so he might miss some time. And here you go, the guy who was actually running hard and improving the last couple weeks is probably going to be out this week, barring something miraculous. Rashee Rice looks great. This wide receiver core, they're very unselfish. You got Worthy, Rice, Juju. They seem to be the TikTok brothers that literally they don't care who gets the ball. They're just, they're happy. Travis Kelce, teams continue to leave him 30 or 40 yards open without a defender in sight. So he's catching balls that I could have caught. But hey, good for him. He had a good game. This Chiefs team looks really good. They're back in the hunt again, and they need to keep winning because if they want to have any shot of a number 1 seed, which is not going to happen, but both teams are in that situation. Buffalo at home has dominated. In fact, Buffalo in general in the regular season has dominated the Chiefs. They're going to continue to do so this week. Take the Buffalo Bills, plus 2.5. Are you kidding me? I understand that they're a popular pick, and Vegas thinks that they're going to take them no matter what, but too many points. Plus 2.5, Buffalo all day long to the bank. They're going to get it done. Lock it up. This is a guaranteed pick. Take the Bills, plus 2.5. Boom.
And then the 5:20 p.m. game, the Sunday night game that maybe 6 people are waiting all Sunday night for, the Seattle Seahawks. sorry Seahawks fans and sorry Commanders fans. But, the Seahawks, nothing to scoff at. They are 3.5-point favorites on the road at the Washington Commanders as of right now with the injury situations.
Yep. Sam Darnold, they're coming off a bye, and this team has a nice 1-2 punch in Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Obviously, with Jackson Smith and Jigba at receiver, this guy is a machine. Arguably, probably the top receiver in the NFL this year overall statistically and how he's performing. Cooper Kupp is kind of holding his own, and this defense has been a surprise. They're not the Legion of Boom, but they're pretty solid. On the other side of the ball, we know what Washington did. Obviously, Mariota is a no-fly zone. He's a serviceable quarterback, but he's not going to get a lot of wins. Terry McLaurin came back, but he quickly exited towards the third or fourth quarter, whatever it was, with a hamstring issue again. He says he thinks he's going to be fine. What that means, who knows? They'll drag it out. He'll be questionable until just before kickoff. And go figure, this is a night game, so for all you fantasy football people, you're probably not going to get an answer till basically an hour before kickoff, maybe 2, which is problematic for a lot of reasons, obviously. There's a lot of contingencies this week, but this is going to be another one. If Jaden Daniels is a go, they're at home. If Jaden Daniels plays, he's the X factor. Take the Washington Commanders, plus 3.5. I love the hook there. I love being home dogs. But if Jaden Daniels does not play, roll with the Seahawks, minus 3.5 to get it done. Very simple. Wait till you find out for sure confirmation on Jaden Daniels. Easy peasy. Washington gets a cover with Jaden Daniels playing plus 3.5. Boom.
And that will finish us up at Monday night. And this week, that is the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Dallas is the favorite slightly by 2.5 points. And, we always joke about Dallas and next year, but Dallas is a confusing team this year. They're a very confusing team.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas, they had their moments. They showed this great offense, but Dallas, it's all about the defense, and they don't have it.
None.
They don't have it at all. Trayvon Diggs is on IR. He's out for a good 4 weeks at least. This defense is non-existent. So Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, you saw the frustration on their faces. They put up 24 points, some of it garbage at the end there, but they gave up 44 to Denver. And I'm telling you right now, I don't see that defense getting any better anytime soon. Lucky for them, they're playing the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are coming off a bye. I don't know. To me, Jacoby Brissett is the better quarterback. He's a better passer, and I think he gives them a better chance to win in a lot of ways. Kyler Murray has splashes, but he makes a lot of mistakes. Kyler Murray's still banged up. Whichever quarterback plays, I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference because the lack of running game that this team has, and I feel like their defense just isn't up for the task against this offense. And due to the fact they don't have a running game, and Marvin Harrison Jr. has been better as of late, but he's kind of been a little bit of a head case and kind of had a little bit of an insecurity issue with catching the ball. He seemed to have kind of fixed that a little bit the last few weeks, but we'll see where that shakes out. Problem is, they do have a good tight end, okay? McBride is a beast, so good for him. They got to get him the ball. But this Dallas offense, they're still solid. And in this case, this Arizona team's not up to task to match them point for point. So take the Dallas Cowboys at home, because if they lose this one, pack it in. The season is pretty much done for them. Monday Night Football, Dak Prescott, all the lights, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens going to come up big. Not enough points. Take the Dallas Cowboys, -2.5. Easy peasy. Boom.
All right, don't click off just yet. I know a lot of you drop out when we're done, but I want to make sure everyone is aware. We get literally hundreds of new subscribers every week, so we appreciate everybody. And I always like to iterate the fact that one thing I think sets us apart on this channel is Jason does take the time to respond to every single comment and question that comes in, including ones about changes in spreads and player injuries, and he enjoys it. He's very friendly and open with it, so please, if you like the pick or if you don't like the pick, feel free to question something down below. Maybe we didn't explain something thoroughly, or you feel like we missed a piece of information, and we're happy to contact you directly through the group chat down below and get more information to you and help you guys make some smart choices. And sometimes that choice is just lay off a game. It's hard to win 15 or 16 games a week. That's why Vegas stays in business.
Yep.
So we'll try to help make the best informed decisions you can. Last notes, please guys like and subscribe. Be sure to stay tuned because in just 4 weeks, our live stream for Thanksgiving will happen. Who's playing this Thanksgiving? I mean, I know who normally plays.
There's multiple games. I mean, Dallas will play their matchup, and then Green Bay versus Detroit's the big one.
They're playing again, which 2 years ago we did that live when Jordan Love was denied his Packers stamped turkey. So stay tuned to see what happens again this year. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to shut up now. Jason?
All right, guys. Until then, we'll see you next week. Take it to the bank. Boom.